Hey guys, welcome back to the vlog, and today I am in the beautiful city of Bristol. I'm going to give you a flip the camera, but everyone is out on the grass currently and it is absolutely scorching. Why in the world am I down in Bristol? And the answer is for yet another podcast. And if you've been following the vlogs for the last few weeks, you will have seen I've done endless amounts of podcasts. I've been in London on podcasts, I'm now in Bristol on podcasts, I've been doing podcasts in Manchester, and you might be wondering now why you're suddenly doing all these podcasts. And mainly it is for one reason. It's because what we are doing with LinkedIn is currently becoming very, very interesting to a lot of people, mainly around how we are using AI in our LinkedIn marketing strategies. So today, rather than taking you on the behind the scenes of me going on this podcast, what I'm actually going to do is take you behind the scenes of how we are using AI to generate leads for our business. And for context, we're going to do about 1 million in sales from LinkedIn alone, fully organically, with no ads in the year of 2026. Okay, the way I'm going to work this is I'm going to literally share my screen and try and take you through at least one or two of the processes where we use AI in LinkedIn. Before I start though, I want to be honest and say, I keep telling people that marketing is becoming a technical sport. And what I mean by that is, back in the day, marketing was purely fuel of creativity. It was who could have the most creative ideas, the most creative campaigns, and that's essentially what won in marketing. But now in the age of data and AI, it is becoming a technical sport where who has the most data and who is able to optimize and automate enough with AI to get results at scale. That said, I'm doing my best in this vlog to simplify things as much as possible. So while I'll reference some quite complicated data sets and tables, I'm going to really numb it down to really simple campaigns that will drive results with AI and LinkedIn. So let me show you some of the campaigns that we run. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to start on LinkedIn, because the key thing you have to understand when I'm talking about any of this AI stuff or any of the LinkedIn stuff, you have to understand fundamentally what LinkedIn as a platform is. And there's two reasons why you want to use LinkedIn. The first reason is it's the biggest database of working people on the planet. That means, essentially, LinkedIn from a fundamental level, if we really roll back the history, it was started as a networking platform, or like a Rolodex. So you go to a networking event, you'd meet someone, you say, okay, let me connect with you on LinkedIn to add you to my Rolodex, almost like getting their number. And because of that, you have now this big, big database of essentially everyone who has a job and works, and they're all on LinkedIn. From a B2B perspective, that is essentially any ICP you'd want to go after. The other benefit of LinkedIn is the access it gives you to those people. It's a networking platform, so it's built to help you connect with them, start conversations with them, and learn more about them. And that makes it an absolute goldmine for B2B marketing. I talk about it a lot as like almost like a Goldilocks situation, because it has all the perfect elements and it's just the right temperature for marketing. So let me just show you this. So look, my first thing here, which is what reason I love LinkedIn and where you can use AI, is if I go on anyone's profile here, it's a public database. So Helen here is just on my feed. It's like a copywriter, and I can see everyone who is engaging on Helen's profile. It seems nothing. That seems like standard social media. But on LinkedIn, I can actually click in and see, oh, this is a creative marketing manager, and I get all this data on where she currently works, the country she's located in, her job title, which are all vital if I'm going to be doing any outbound or outreach in my B2B marketing. If I go to my own profile, I can see that I've got a bunch of different posts out today. Let me find one. So this post I posted this morning, it only has 1,000 impressions, but this 40 engages, and I can go through and say, oh, look, there's a founder and group CEO here, right within my ICP, and I can click on them, and I can get data on, again, where they are, data on their company, the roles they've had, their past, the different companies that they work with, even their education. This is all vital if I want to do any outreach. And what I'd actually redefine this as is, rather than engagers, I would redefine it as potential prospects. These people who know who we are, they're showing intent. So this is a post where I talk about marketing on LinkedIn, and I actually talk about something essentially similar to what I'm talking about today. And these people have engaged in it. So they've essentially raised their hand and said, I'm actually quite curious about this LinkedIn marketing thing that you're talking about. So this is not a list of people who just like my content. It's a list of people who could be potential prospects. So where does the AI come in, and where does this get exciting? Well, based on this, technically speaking, I could find these potential prospects. I could say that's a lead, and I could, like I said, click on their profile. Let's say James Lamb, and I could send them a message could click message and send them a message, and I could do it manually. That's going to take a lot of time for me to do. But what I'm actually going to do instead is I'm going to use a tool to do it. And the type of tool you need to do this is actually called a social listening tool. So originally, social listening tools were developed for brands to like track how people viewed them online. So for example, let's say I ran Nike's marketing. I might use a social listening tool to see essentially all the comments across all the social media platforms. Are they positive about Nike? Are they negative? What are they saying about them? That's social listening. But from a B2B perspective, I can use a tool like Junglr here, and it will essentially pull all my engagers with AI agents. It'll pull all the engagers. So with a tool like Junglr, it will actually use AI agents to scrape all of my content and give me every single person who is engaging on my LinkedIn profile. And there's loads of people here, from head of partnerships, co-founders, marketing executives, marketing coordinators, marketing managers, founders, managing directors, all people that could potentially be in my ICP. And you see just how I split this now and how Junglr gives me the data. They suddenly go from being engagement on your LinkedIn content to potential prospects or leads. So you've got your potential prospects, but what do you do from there? Well, this is where it gets a little bit technical. What we do from here is we take these potential prospects and we go ahead and we put them into this tool called Clay. And Clay, I always describe it as like a spreadsheet on steroids. But essentially, you're able to enrich the data, get people's emails, phone numbers, learn more information on them, integrate AI into the spreadsheet. There's lots of really clever things you can do. On a simple level, all you have to see for now is we get this data in this spreadsheet format. And the first thing I'm looking to do is, out of all of these engagers, some of them just like aren't in our ICP. This one here, for example, is a personal brand strategist. That's not someone we're going to work with. And I don't want us to be wasting outreach going to people that aren't in our ICP. So we just do a really simple, in this table, a really simple filtering process. Are they the right size company for us? Are they in the right industry? Are they in the right location? Are they the right job titles? Are they qualified? And if all these boxes get ticked, we'll get it sent straight to an outreach campaign. And you can see we're getting about 1,000 leads a month ready to go straight into our outreach campaigns. And then if I show you that, I can see you here. We're using a tool called HeyReach. There's a bunch of different other tools that you're able to send LinkedIn messages with. A preference of mine is HeyReach. You can see a sequence that goes out to all these people that have engaged on our content. In particular, in here, the message says, "Hey, cheers for connecting. Bit of a weird one, but I saw you engage on content on outbound automation recently. Figured it was worth reaching out. We just put together a doc with some interesting stuff we're doing with AI to help our LinkedIn outbound. Anyway, thought it might be useful, worth me sending over just a mini PDF." And I can get into why that script works and why it's important and the offer is important. But the most important thing you to understand right now is that I have taken my LinkedIn content from social content that gets likes to phishing content that drives leads. Social content that gets likes, you put it out, you get likes, yippee. Phishing content, I put out the content, I get potential prospects to raise their hand and say, "I'm curious about what you do," and then I am doing outreach to start conversations with them. There's a massive difference between the two. And the key thing about this with phishing content is any prospect who engages on my content, I am able to start a conversation with them within 24 hours, which is, as you know, if you're marketing or sales, is so vital if you want it to convert. And I can quickly dip into the script and why that works, and then I'll show you some other exciting things we're doing with AI. So first of all, because I am scraping the data on what they're engaging with, I'm able to personalize my message with AI to what content they engage with. So you can see here, I say, "I see you've been engaging on content around outbound automation recently." I could also say, "Oh, I saw you've liked some of my recent posts around marketing on LinkedIn." I could say, "Hi, I know you engaged on a couple of my posts around my journey so far. Curious, is there anything I can help you with?" So I can vary my messaging depending on what they've actually engaged with and where I've essentially collected their intent and data from. I've also kept it really personal, bit of a weird one. Figured it was worth reaching out. Very, very human, even though it's not human written. And I offer something straight away. We call this never showing up empty-handed. You know, if you're going to have a sales conversation, which this is, it's almost a very direct sales conversation. I want to start it with some value for them. So I'm saying, "Look, I know you're interested in this. I've got something that's useful if you're interested in that. Are you against me sending it over? And or worth me sending it over? It's just a mini PDF." I'm trying to keep it really human, really valuable, really simple. And that's exactly what this is. And this is one of our best performing outreach messages, which it literally is the message which is booking 10 to 12 meetings a month right now, which is absolutely massive from a growth perspective. Okay, now let's look at some of the interesting things that you can do as well with AI. So that is just getting your own engagers. But whereas I've shown you this, which is the engagers on my profile, I can get this for anyone on the planet who posts on LinkedIn. So for example, Morgan Ratcliffe, who's my brother and co-founder, let's say he was my biggest competitor. I could literally go on his LinkedIn and I can find all the engagers because it's a public forum. No matter who you are watching this, if you're posting on LinkedIn, I can go on your post and I can see who's liked it. So what that allows me to do is steal my competitor's lead with AI. So what I'm getting it to do is, let's say this was our biggest competitor, I would have AI scraping all of their content, finding all of their engagers, and I would do the exact same thing. I would qualify them with a really simple qualification process, and you can make this more technical or less technical. This is probably the least technical filtering system we have. For some clients, we have really, really high tech filtering systems. And I would reach out to our competitors' leads, stealing them before they reach out to them. Marketing is all about starting conversations, and you want to optimize for how many conversations you can start as quick as possible from when someone engages or interacts with anything around the brand. Example, let's say there's another LinkedIn marketing agency. They post on LinkedIn yesterday. If I then see that, the AI scrapes it, reaches out to them within 24 hours, I will start the conversation with them, even though they have nurtured them. And that is how you can win, by just being more tech savvy and more efficient with the data you are able to collect. You can also do that with influencers. So I can find the biggest influencer in my space, again, find interested people in their likes and engagers and turn them into prospects. I can do it with industry leaders. I can do it with local competitors. I can do it with my customers. So there's customer campaigns where I could technically pick one of our clients. I could see the engagers of our clients. I could reach out to them and say, hi, so you engage on this person's content. We're actually managing our LinkedIn strategy. So there's so many different avenues that you can take this. But the key thing you have to understand is the public data available on LinkedIn is priceless. And if you just use AI to extract it, start conversations, it's a massive, massive sales channel that you can open up. And I can't lie to you, I've been a little bit cautious here with what I show because I'm a little bit nervous that the team are going to kill me for showing even this much. And I know already Areeb's going to have to blur out a bunch in the video edit of this vlog to make sure I don't show too much. But if you want to see more of the behind the scenes of how things work, I've tried to keep this as simple as possible while kind of dip your toes into what it can look like to use AI and LinkedIn and the opportunities there. But even the simple things of being able to steal your competitors' leads by scraping their engagers with AI is absolutely massive. And I haven't even touched on how you can track when companies grow and when they're hiring and how you can personalize the messages for that. There's so many interesting things around LinkedIn and using AI right now, and especially on the outreach front. So if you want to see more like this, let us know in the comments, YouTube video, LinkedIn video, wherever you end up watching this. And other than that, I'll see you in the next vlog.